Hello, this is the England Pod Lionesses edition. Pressure is for tyres. Lauren James, Georgia Stanway, Lauren James again, Ella Toon. Well, that was much better, wasn't it, guys? Kathryn Vatty's here, Dave Walker's here from the England Pod. 4-0 win for England over the Netherlands, and everyone can breathe a bit easier. Kathryn, first of all, I saw you in the morning, I saw a few of the press pack. We were all kind of like, oh, not sure, could go either way if they play like that again, like they did against France. It could be curtains. But, well, just how different was that performance that we saw against the Netherlands?
It's one of those things where I think we all knew that they had it in them. It was just whether they turned up. And the sense you got from the England team kind of going into that game was that they were actually really calm because they knew what they had to do. And somehow it seemed to just make the task simpler. I think there was a lot of kind of fear of France. And with it being the first game, I think it was just all kind of, things just didn't go to plan. Obviously, Sarina Wiegman changed things around for the game against the Netherlands and it worked a lot better. I think Wales made the Netherlands look a better team than they actually are.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of said it in the last one, but when you look at the two teams on paper, I just thought England's team were better. They had more options off the bench to bring on. And I just think the squad's better. And thankfully, they turned up and performed at their best. And it's a remarkable stat, really, that under Sarina Wiegman, England have never lost 2 games in a row. And that's just kind of characteristic of this team for the last couple of years, that when they have a really bad game or a bad performance, they always seem to be able to bounce back in the next game. The job now in tournament football is to try and stay consistent and not have this kind of to and fro, because that's kind of what you can't afford. But yeah, much better last night, and I think we probably feel a lot better having watched it as well.
Just blew them away in the first half, didn't they? Really, it was only 2-0, but it could have been more. And we were talking the other day about, are we going to see a response? Are we going to, we need something early, and we saw that straight away. Like, they were winning the ball high up, they were putting the Netherlands under pressure. We had a lot of joy from getting balls into the box, created some good chances from crosses. With Russo had a couple of headers. Hemp got a header at the back post as well. But the energy was there, the aggression was there, and we got the rewards as well with a superb first goal from Lauren James. And we've not actually talked about Hannah Hampton, have we, much since the tournament has started. We talked about her a lot building up to the tournament off the back of the whole Mary Earp situation, but that is vindication for Sarina Wiegman, putting her in the team. Coming out confidently to claim that ball and then just drill that pass into Russo, who spins and it's in behind. And we got in behind so much. Robyn, you were saying the other day about how our front line is much quicker than the Netherlands back line, and that was very much the case. You could see that from early on. We were getting in behind, causing them problems, and then gave the ball to Lauren James in the perfect spot, and she does what she does, like just a great finish. And it was she sort of, it seems to me a little bit of like a trademark of hers. The way she sort of hits the ball, there's kind of very little follow through. She just sort of stabs it in, and it just bang, zooms into the top corner. And once we got that goal, we never looked back. Even before that, we were all over them. But like, getting that goal really put us in pole position, and getting that second goal just before half time really capped off a superb first half. Bit of a deflection on that goal from Georgia Stanway. One of those ones where you see it, you go, wow, what a strike, and then you see the replay and it's like nicked off. More of a ricochet, I would say, actually, than a deflection off of the defender's foot. But nonetheless, like, rewarded for just being positive and having a go. And I think you could see in that celebration how much it meant to her as well. A big moment for Stanway.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing, is that obviously started well against France, had that goal disallowed and then faded, and that was the only. I didn't really feel like that would happen this time, but when Russo missed quite a very good head, it was a very good chance at the header. I just thought, need to score. So Lauren James obviously kept her place. Ella Toon coming in for Beth Mead. So James goes out to the right. Jess Carter keeping her place, but Kathryn, Sarina Wiegman did what you asked. And do you know
She's been
what?
listening.
It just, clearly, as she just said to the press, I just need to listen to a certain podcast first before I decide what I'm going to do. But I mean, it just looked like it's square pegs in square holes, isn't it? I know Alex Greenwood hasn't really played there, well, for years for club. I know she played there, I think, for country against the USA, but it's been very, very seldom, hasn't it? But it just worked. And I thought, actually, Jess Carter was pretty imperious being moved into a more comfortable position.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think Carter was probably you get the defenders get overlooked in a 4-0 win because they didn't have much to do. But I thought of the back four, I was almost most impressed with Carter just because of how much she'd struggled against France and how well she bounced back. Oh, you can just tell she prefers playing at centre back. That's where she plays her club football. And I know Alex Greenwood probably prefers playing centre back as well, but she's just so much more comfortable at left back than anybody else in that squad is. And Sarina kind of said the reason that she's tweaked it around was because of how the Netherlands play and that, have different games call for different things. But I do think she has to stick with that going forward now because I think it's the best back four option that she's got. There was more balance. It naturally helps having a left footer at left back. And I actually think Jess Carter as a centre back, I think her talent is overlooked. And I think we've constantly kind of talked about Leah Williamson, Millie Bright, Alex Greenwood, and who's the best centre back there. Because Jess Carter's kind of had to sometimes fill in at left back, or if she's played as a centre back in a back five or whatever. I actually think she's a really, really good centre back, and I think it's almost a better combination of her and Leah because I think Carter's slightly similar, more similar to Millie Bright, maybe a little bit quicker. And has that kind of robustness where Williamson can bring the ball out and play out from the back. Because I also sometimes think Williamson and Greenwood do the same job a little bit. And then Alex is a good enough player to go out and play at left back and still be involved in this game and still, take the team forward. So I think that's the best back four, and I just kind of hope she sticks with that going forward.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, the eye test did it really, Dave, but FOTMob on the app has confirmed what we all suspected. It was a total domination, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Especially, again, as I say, in that first half. We went in at half-time, 62% possession, 1.39 XG to Dutch's 0.07. We had 11 shots in the first half, 3 on target, 2 big chances created, 216 passes to 126 from the Dutch. And if you look across the game as well, like individually, some standout performances and numbers from Stanway, most tackles, most duels won. Lauren Hemp created 2 big chances. Russo actually got the highest FOTMob rating in the match. 3 assists, 4 chances created, 5 shots. Bronze, Walsh, James all stand out when you look at like the passing maps and the passing data in terms of like forward progressive passes, getting into the front line with quality passes. Like it was night and day from the game against France. And you could feel that release as well. I think, again, such a difference when you see the players talking after this game than when they were after France. And obviously, they've just won 4-0 and they're on high. But you can sort of feel like, I think perhaps some of the players felt like they had a bit of a point to prove and sort of wanted to show people that, hang on, like we're still in this. Okay, we've lost to a decent team in France and we've had a bad night, but we're still the defending champions and, this is who we are. So now, hopefully, they can kick on from there. And the Wales game, obviously, still need to get the job done against Wales. Can't be complacent, but it's a much less pressurised affair than it perhaps could have been.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, England just have to win that game, and they're through. Most probably in second place, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We should talk a bit about. I mean, it was England were more direct, but when I say that, it was not just aimless getting it launched balls forward. Some of them were just absolutely gorgeous passes, and we must talk. I know Dave alluded to it. I was next to Rachel Brown finisher. She nearly, honestly, fainted with that Hannah Hampton pass from the back. It was just sumptuous, wasn't it? And that, what a weapon we have there with Hannah Hampton. But also Leah Williamson was doing it, wasn't she? Alex Greenwood, they were just dropping them perfectly over the top. And I'm not sure there are that many teams who can do that, actually. We've seen Spain, fantastic with the short passes, etc. And I'm sure they're capable of it. But just there's so many players in this England team that are really good at those perfectly placed, weighted balls onto sort of players running onto them. And yeah, the Netherlands just couldn't handle it, could they?
Hampton was outstanding in that game. Not just her distribution, but I thought she commanded her box well. And actually, the first goal, she plays that pass, and I think it was Leah Williamson, and it was either Alex Greenwood or Jess Carter. I can't remember who it was. They ran back and actually congratulated her, and they went to, and I could see Leah kind of pointing at Hampton as if to say that started with you. And I think she needed that from a confidence kind of boost, because I've seen a few different things about, should Mary Earp still be in goal? Would she have been there, that presence behind her, the defence, would that have made a difference against France? I don't think it would have done, but I could understand the debate about what Earp brings. But I think Hampton, it was almost like and we've seen it at Chelsea, we've seen her play those passes for Chelsea, but it felt like a coming of age performance at international football, in the sense of she just looked different to the Hannah Hampton I've seen when she's played for England before. She looked really confident, really determined, and her passing was unbelievable. I mean, there was another one, I think, in the second half that she played over to Russo as well that created a chance. And Sarina kind of talked about it after the game, and she said, I think she credited her slightly too much, because she said she had 2 assists. I think she maybe meant pre-assists, but she said it's remarkable for a goalkeeper, and she is right. And actually, sometimes there's nothing wrong with going direct. It doesn't necessarily, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean hoofball.
No.
Because you've got like that pass from Hampton. It was almost like it wasn't actually that high. It just sort of soared at kind of mid-level in between the two Dutch defenders, perfectly placed for Russo to just run onto it. And when you've got players like Russo and Lauren Hemp, who is so quick, that kind of works really well. So I actually think it was a perfect game plan, but you need your goalkeeper to be able to execute it. And I just think Hampton was brilliant. And I heard some of the commentary after the game from Rachel Brown-Finnis bigging her up, and rightly so. I think she deserves that credit hugely.
There were so many good individual performances as well, wasn't there? Like, we've not really talked much about Lauren James, and she got 2 goals. I thought she was really good, really good composed finish for the second goal, which had already come across. And I think, was it Russo who had the chance but missed it, and then you could panic and you could snatch it in that moment, but she didn't. She just swept it into the corner. Gets her second goal, gets subbed off a little bit later, and it's job done. But I thought Hemp was brilliant, like just absolutely, so quick down that left side, and just really giving the Dutch fullback tough time. They made subs, didn't they? They took the fullbacks off, or certainly took one of the fullbacks off at half time, but there were 3 subs at half time. And Toon coming in, gets her goal, but as well as busy, lively. There's no bad performances out there at all. Everyone played really, really well, and we love playing the Dutch. It's great. We play the Dutch every week. Beat them on this day a year ago. The men beat them in the semi-final. Me, Ali, and George were there. A couple of weeks ago, we beat them in the semi-final of the under-21s men's tournament, and we've just absolutely taken them to pieces in the women's Euros. They're our favourite team.
Well, and also, I mean, the subplots in this one as well. I mean, move over Love Island. This was incredible. I mean, I felt a little bit sorry for the Dutch coach Andries Jonker, who's had a bit of a roller coaster, isn't he, of a tournament? Sort of some almost sort of a bit testy press conferences with the Dutch journalists, because he's been told he's going. Apparently, that's not his decision. He wanted to stay. I've been told he absolutely loves the job, but they've poached Sarina Wiegman's assistant, Arjen Vurink, and so he'll be there after that. And then because of that, Sarina Wiegman has poached Andries Jonker's 2 assistants, who'll be joining England at the end of the tournament. So it was very, very strange, I imagine. And they all wanted to play it down, didn't they, Kathryn, before that? They were asked. They were having none of it. But I don't know. When I explained it, it's just like, this is a weird dynamic, isn't it? We already kind of know each other so well. And this is doing a bit of coach swapping at the end of the tournament.
Work for Ian to do, I think, after watching that, but I think he can he can wait
maybe I'll
to
stay.
do that preparation until the end of the tournament. But yeah, we talked a little bit about it before when it was kind of announced, but yeah, it did feel a little bit tit for tat when Sarina was like, right, if you take my coach, I'm going to take 2 of yours. See how you like it.
I'll have your kit man as well, yeah. On the way out, yeah. No, it was fantastic, and yeah, I think you're right, Dave. I can't think of it. Well, no one had a bad performance, but I feel like we should talk a bit more about Lauren James. I feel like because I did a lot of Chelsea this season, I've almost become desensitized to how good she is, but ridiculous. I mean, I think even the Dutch coach. Yesterday in his press conference just said it's impossible to get the ball off her, just impossible. And when she's in that mood, she is. I think he basically said in kind of longer terms, she's unplayable, and she was that yesterday, even despite probably not being at her fittest.
She seems to have that ability. Just her technique, her ball striking technique, in terms of shooting and getting deliveries into the box, is just, from what I can see, on another level to most of the players around her. I mean, we did put a lot of good balls into the box, and from other players as well yesterday. But she's when she can score a goal like that as well, when you've got a player that's got that in their locker and they can just get you a goal, not out of nowhere, but just being able to have that confidence to take on those shots. That was an unsavable shot for the first goal yesterday. And she did well as well. She got a bit of a bang on the head early on yesterday, didn't she? I saw her icing that when she was taken off from the bench. I saw she caught herself. They put her on the big screen and she was sat on the bench. She could see, like, the big screen's on me here, but I've got an ice pack I'm trying to soothe the lump on my head. But she was, you could tell that it was... she was very satisfied when she came off, like cool celebration. Like, I think she's just got a bit of swagger, right? She knows that she's good.
Yeah.
And you want that, I think, from your best players.
I mean, Kathryn, what else can you say about Lauren James? It's just she does things that I don't think any other player in this tournament can do.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing with the last game. I saw kind of a few people saying, like, how could you say you don't want Lauren James in the team? Obviously, like, we were kind of saying you have to find a way to put her in the team, but it's where do you put her? And I did think moving her out to the right-hand side. You talk about being in the 10 and having more freedom. I actually think she had more freedom out on the right wing because she had less kind of other things to think about. She could just think about going forward. And I think it's also easier for her to track back on the wing than it is in the middle. And she was just brilliant. I mean, like Jonka said, it's so difficult to get the ball off her when she's in control of it. She's so powerful, so quick. And it just feels so effortless for her. And whenever she gets the ball, you think something's going to happen and she's going to create something. And her left foot is her weaker foot, by the way, for that first goal. Like, I mean, I struggle to believe that that's her weaker foot because it was just so powerful. But it just looked like it was so easy as well. And then her second goal, obviously, even that, like, it doesn't look as, fancy because it's kind of, hitting in from close range. But that was such a good finish. She put it right in the corner where the goalkeeper and the defender wasn't. So cool. It's almost like she didn't look when she did it. And then she just sort of turned around and was like, oh yeah, I scored again. Like it's just sort of nothing, just scored in a Euros game. But I do think playing her on the right, that's where you get the best from her. I think like you can get the best from her in a 10. But I just think in the way this system is when you're playing a 4-3-3, having her on the right, that's where you get the best of Lauren James currently.
And I think having Toon in the middle, like she's a different player to Lauren James, a bit more of a, she obviously scored a really good goal and she's famously scored big goals for England in big moments, but she's quite busy as well. She'll sort of rattle around and helped us out in the midfield, I think, in a way that there was a big hole in the midfield against France. Particularly if you look at like the position maps and the passing maps and stuff, you can see just like this massive big void in the middle of the pitch for England against France, and that wasn't the case last night. And I think Toon really helped being in that position. Yeah,
I totally agree. I think we kind of don't recognise how she's really experienced now, actually, and she's always been very much trusted by Sarina Wiegman, and even though she's been taken out of the team a few times, she just always she knows exactly what she's doing. She's actually a really mature player, and a real team player. So yeah, I mean, we could just talk about this forever, couldn't we? But none of us predicted the correct scoreline, did we, Dave? I think we all predicted a win. So we got a few points for that. But how is the prediction league shaping up on FOTMob?
Yeah, we were all a little bit conservative. I think understandably, we didn't want to jinx things, but maybe we need to be a bit more ambitious with our picks. We'll all go for like a 4-0 against Wales, and it will be like 1-0 or something. That's just the way it will go.
Guaranteed.
But in terms of the league itself, it's hotting up at the top. We've got Nick Parmenter and Marie Leanne, who are both tied in first place. A clutch of people just behind them, and a certain Mr. Ali Maxwell climbing the table is now in 6th place in our predictions league. But yeah, none of us. I'm 11th. Where are you two? Robyn, you're 16th. Oh, 15th and 16th, you two. Kathryn, you're 15th. Robyn, you're 16th. So you're battling out down there.
Mediocrity.
Exactly. Yeah. But what are the next games? What have we got coming up? We've got Norway v Iceland and Finland v Switzerland, both 8 p.m. UK time tonight. Norway are already through, aren't they?
That's right.
That's what you've got to think about.
Yeah, I mean, they've not been great, have they, Norway? So, I mean, it's not like they have to... They're still sort of playing their way into the tournament for me. So I've gone with Norway 1, Iceland 1 for this one.
I am going to go... I mean, Norway are already through, which is always a bit of a tricky thing when you're predicting the final group games, but Iceland haven't been very good so far. They are already out. They did the saddest, the big clap thing that they do. They were all basically in tears doing that clap the other day to their fans.
Vikings.
Yeah. But I think maybe they'll get a goal, but I think Norway probably edge it 2-1 and get their third win. Finland, Switzerland, I think the home nation will carry on where they left off in their last game. They looked pretty good by the end, didn't they? I think they will win 2-1.
So I've again gone with a 1-1 here because I thought Finland actually looked pretty good against Norway. I personally do hope Switzerland win. I'd love to see them play again because I think they've been really great in this tournament. Kathryn, yours for the conclusion of Group A that we've got today?
I think Norway will win 1-0. They're just sort of they've got enough to win that game.
Another own goal, maybe.
Yeah, they'll just they might rest a few players, but they'll still do enough to probably win. And I've gone Switzerland 1-0 as well. I think it might be a really cagey game with both teams obviously wanting to go through. But I'm hoping the spirit of the home crowd just sees Switzerland over the line because it'd be nice to keep the hosts in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll see if we can knock Ali Maxwell off his perch. As we continue the prediction lead, you can join us. Just download the FOTMob app. All links you need are in the show notes. And that's about it for this reaction pod. We will be back for a preview of the final group game. Should be a cracker. England against Wales and St Gallen. We'll catch you then.